If you've ever found yourself asking, what is the truth? Or how do I really know what's true? Then you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about one of the most profound and timeless philosophies, the pursuit of truth, a journey that has shaped human progress and self-understanding for centuries. And we're going to explore this through the lens of Socrates, one of the greatest minds to ever walk the earth. We'll break down how his approach to finding truth through relentless questioning is not just something to admire in history, but something that can radically transform your life today. But here's the catch: the truth, while powerful, is not always easy to face. It can challenge your beliefs, it can make you uncomfortable, and yes, it might even force you to rethink everything you thought you knew. But that's exactly why we need to talk about it. Because the journey of seeking truth is one that helps us grow, helps us live a life that is truly meaningful, and ultimately empowers us to become the best version of ourselves. I know this sounds intense, but trust me, you won't want to miss this. We're going to dive deep, uncover some hard truths, and challenge your assumptions. And by the end of this video, you'll not only have a new understanding of what it means to live truthfully, but you'll also be equipped with tools to start your own journey of self-discovery. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's begin. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends who need a little philosophical boost, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support means the world to me. Also, if you'd like to show even more love and appreciation for the content we're creating here, feel free to donate with a super thanks. It helps keep the content coming and allows us to bring even more great ideas and conversations to you. All right, let's get started because the truth awaits. The question, is truth the most important thing in life, is not just a philosophical inquiry, but a deeply practical one. It challenges our perceptions, our beliefs, and our way of living. In a world constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and distractions, the pursuit of truth can often feel like an elusive and difficult journey. But when we look deeper, it becomes clear that understanding and seeking truth is the key to unlocking a life of meaning and purpose. Truth has always been a central theme in philosophy, and perhaps no figure embodies this search more than Socrates. Socrates, one of the founding figures of Western philosophy, made the quest for truth a lifelong mission. His approach to understanding the world around him was based on asking questions, challenging assumptions, and refusing to accept anything as true without rigorous examination. In doing so, Socrates laid the groundwork for critical thinking and established a method of inquiry that has influenced countless generations. His idea that truth is not something to be passively received but actively sought out resonates with many, even in today's complex and fast-paced world. But why is truth so important in the first place? Why does Socrates consider it the foundation of a meaningful life? To understand this, we must first delve into his philosophy. Socrates believed that the pursuit of truth was not just about accumulating knowledge, but about shaping one's character and understanding the nature of existence. For him, the search for truth was tied to ethics, morality, and the very essence of being human. He argued that people who lived without questioning or seeking the truth would lead lives full of misunderstanding, false assumptions, and missed opportunities. In contrast, those who strove for truth would live more fulfilled, enlightened, and ethical lives. Socrates didn't see truth as an abstract concept locked away in a distant realm. He believed it could be discovered through dialogue, reasoning, and critical reflection. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," suggesting that without questioning our assumptions and beliefs, we cannot hope to understand ourselves or the world around us. This search for truth, according to Socrates, is essential for personal growth and the development of a virtuous life. For Socrates, truth wasn't simply about facts or empirical knowledge. It was about understanding the deeper principles that govern life. It was about uncovering the underlying truths of human nature, society, and morality. In his many dialogues, especially those written by his student Plato, Socrates would engage in conversations with others, often exposing the contradictions in their thinking. Through these exchanges, he would lead them to question their own beliefs and push them to find the truth for themselves. This method of questioning, known as the Socratic method, was revolutionary because it shifted the focus from simply accepting knowledge to critically engaging with it and questioning its validity. To better understand why Socrates considered truth so vital, let's think about how we experience truth in our daily lives. Take, for example, the process of learning. Imagine a student who memorizes information for an exam without truly understanding it. The student may do well on the test, but that knowledge remains superficial. It is only when the student questions the material, explores in depth, and seeks to understand its underlying principles that the learning becomes meaningful. This kind of inquiry doesn't just lead to academic success, it fosters intellectual growth, personal development, and a deeper understanding of the world. In a more everyday context, think about relationships. Many conflicts arise from misunderstandings or false assumptions. When two people are unwilling to be honest with each other, or when they fail to address uncomfortable truths, they often find themselves in situations where their connection weakens or even breaks down. On the other hand, relationships that are based on open communication, trust, and a mutual search for truth tend to be stronger and more resilient. Socrates understood this dynamic while he knew that in order to live a good life, one had to confront the uncomfortable truths, whether about oneself, others, or the world at large. The importance of truth also extends to the political realm. Socrates lived in Athens during a time of great political turmoil, and he was deeply concerned with the nature of justice and the role of truth in governance. He believed that leaders should be guided by truth rather than by popular opinion or the pursuit of power. In his view, a just society could only be achieved if its citizens sought truth and were willing to challenge falsehoods, whether in the form of corrupt politicians, misguided ideologies, or societal norms that promoted injustice. Socrates was not afraid to speak out against the political elites of his time, and he ultimately paid the price for his commitment to truth with his life. His execution by drinking hemlock is seen by many as the ultimate sacrifice for the pursuit of truth, demonstrating his unwavering dedication to uncovering the deeper realities of existence, even at the cost of his own life. Today, Socrates' legacy continues to influence not only philosophy, but also the way we think about truth in the modern world. In a time when misinformation and alternative facts often cloud our judgment, Socrates' insistence on seeking truth through careful questioning and reasoning is more relevant than ever. We live in an age where opinions are often mistaken for facts, and where truth can be manipulated or distorted for political or personal gain. The ability to think critically, ask difficult questions, and seek out the truth is an essential skill for navigating the complexities of the modern world. Why then is truth so important? For Socrates, the answer lies in the very nature of human existence. Without truth, we are left adrift in a sea of confusion, unable to understand ourselves or our place in the world. Truth provides the foundation for a meaningful life, one that is grounded in understanding, self-awareness, and ethical behavior. When we pursue truth, we align ourselves with the deeper principles that govern the universe and our existence within it. In this sense, truth is not just a pursuit of knowledge, it is a path to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. In conclusion, Socrates' belief in the importance of truth is timeless and universal. Whether in personal relationships, intellectual pursuits, or the political sphere, truth is the guiding principle that enables us to live with integrity, wisdom, and purpose. Socrates' unwavering commitment to seeking truth, even in the face of adversity, offers a powerful lesson for us all. As we navigate the complexities of life, we must remember his advice: to live an examined life, to question our assumptions, and to seek out the truth not as a distant, abstract ideal, but as a living, breathing force that shapes our lives and the world around us. Truth, as Socrates taught us, is not something we simply inherit, it is something we must actively pursue every day in every aspect of our lives. Socrates, one of the most influential figures in Western philosophy, devoted his life to the pursuit of truth. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he didn't seek to gather vast amounts of knowledge or simply accept what was widely believed to be true. Instead, he focused on challenging existing ideas and assumptions, pushing people to question their beliefs and seek deeper understanding. His method of inquiry, which came to be known as the Socratic method, is still widely used today and serves as a foundation for critical thinking and philosophical discourse. Socrates was not concerned with the accumulation of facts, but with understanding the underlying principles that govern human life and society. To him, the pursuit of truth wasn't just an intellectual exercise, it was a way of life, a continual process of questioning, reflection, and self-examination. Born in Athens around 470 BCE, Socrates lived through a period of great political and cultural change. He witnessed the fall of Athens after its defeat in the Peloponnesian War and the rise of oligarchies and political instability. In this climate of social upheaval, Socrates found it increasingly important to question the established norms and values of society. He was deeply concerned with the moral and ethical implications of human actions, and he believed that individuals should be guided by reason and virtue rather than by tradition or popular opinion. He believed that true knowledge and wisdom could only be attained through self-examination and the questioning of one's own assumptions. Socrates was not a typical philosopher in the sense that he didn't write down his teachings or leave behind any written works. Instead, his ideas were passed down through the writings of his students, particularly Plato, who portrayed Socrates in many of his dialogues. Through these writings, we get a glimpse into the philosophical life of Socrates, who spent most of his time in the public spaces of Athens, engaging in conversation and debate with anyone willing to listen. He would often approach people, politicians, craftsmen, poets, and ordinary citizens and engage them in dialogue about their beliefs, aiming to expose contradictions and inconsistencies in their thinking. The essence of Socrates' philosophy can be found in his belief that knowledge is not something that can be handed down or taught in the traditional sense. He famously declared that he knew nothing, except for the fact that he knew nothing. This statement, far from being a form of self-deprecation, was a profound reflection of his method of inquiry. Socrates believed that true wisdom began with the acknowledgement of one's own ignorance. Only by recognizing that we do not have all the answers can we begin the process of searching for truth. To Socrates, this was the first step toward wisdom and self-improvement. Rather than arrogantly proclaiming to have all the answers, Socrates took a humble approach, recognizing that the pursuit of knowledge was a lifelong endeavor. His focus wasn't on finding the right answers, but on asking the right questions. Socrates' approach to truth was grounded in the belief that individuals should be responsible for their own understanding of the world. He did not trust the opinions of others or the popular beliefs of the time. Instead, he challenged the prevailing wisdom and encouraged his fellow Athenians to think for themselves. He would often engage in dialogues with people who were considered experts in their respective fields, such as the politicians or the craftsmen of Athens. These conversations typically began with Socrates asking simple, seemingly innocent questions, but they often led to deeper and more complex discussions about justice, virtue, knowledge, and the nature of the human soul. Through these dialogues, Socrates sought to expose contradictions in the beliefs of his interlocutors and force them to reconsider their assumptions. One of the most famous examples of Socrates' method can be found in his conversation with the oracle at Delphi. The oracle famously declared that Socrates was the wisest man in Athens, a statement that Socrates found puzzling. He did not see himself as wise, and he set out on a quest to prove the oracle wrong. Socrates began questioning the supposed experts in various fields, only to discover that many of them were not as wise as they claimed. He realized that true wisdom lay not in the accumulation of knowledge or expertise, but in the recognition of one's own limitations. This realization reinforced his belief that the pursuit of truth requires humility, self-awareness, and an ongoing willingness to question one's own beliefs. Socrates was not interested in merely winning arguments or demonstrating his intellectual superiority. He did not engage in debate for the sake of proving others wrong. Instead, he saw dialogue as a way to uncover the deeper truths about the world and to refine his own understanding of these truths. His goal was not to impose his own beliefs on others, but to encourage them to think critically and to examine their own beliefs. Socrates believed that by engaging in honest, open dialogue, individuals could come to a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. This is where the significance of asking questions comes into play. Socrates believed that the act of questioning was essential to the discovery of truth. Through his method of questioning, he encouraged people to examine their own beliefs, to identify contradictions in their thinking, and to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves and their society. By constantly asking questions, Socrates believed that individuals could refine their understanding of the world and come closer to the truth. In this sense, Socrates' philosophy was not about finding a final, definitive answer to life's big questions. Rather, it was about engaging in an ongoing process of inquiry and self-examination. Socrates also rejected the idea of accepting knowledge or wisdom based solely on authority or tradition. In the ancient Greek world, many people relied on the teachings of poets, priests, or other respected figures for guidance. Socrates, however, believed that it was essential to question the authority of these figures and to critically evaluate their claims. For Socrates, the pursuit of truth was not about following blindly in the footsteps of others. It was about thinking for oneself and challenging the status quo. This emphasis on independent thought and intellectual integrity was a hallmark of Socrates' philosophy and remains a key component of critical thinking today. One of the most striking aspects of Socrates' life and philosophy was his willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, even at great personal cost. He was eventually put on trial by the Athenian government on charges of corrupting the youth and impiety. Despite the risk of execution, Socrates refused to abandon his principles. In his defense speech, famously recorded by Plato in the Apology, Socrates argued that he had been serving the city of Athens by encouraging people to think critically and to examine their beliefs. He believed that his questioning was a form of service to the community, as it forced people to confront their assumptions and to live more virtuous lives. Socrates was ultimately sentenced to death, but he remained unwavering in his commitment to the pursuit of truth. Socrates' trial and execution serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of questioning authority and challenging accepted beliefs. His life and philosophy illustrate the value of intellectual integrity and the necessity of seeking truth, even when doing so may be difficult or unpopular. Socrates' method of questioning and his commitment to uncovering the truth have left an indelible mark on philosophy and continue to influence the way we approach problems and seek understanding today. His insistence on the importance of asking questions, challenging assumptions, and critically examining the world around us is more relevant than ever, especially in an age where information is often distorted and truth can be elusive. Through his example, Socrates teaches us that the pursuit of truth is not a destination, but a lifelong journey that requires courage, humility, and a relentless commitment to questioning the world as we know it. Truth is often a slippery concept. It is not something that simply reveals itself to us in a straightforward, easily digestible manner. It requires work, a willingness to challenge the status quo, and a commitment to questioning assumptions. The process of discovering truth is not a passive experience, but an active and rigorous one. In fact, truth often hides in places we least expect, and it is only through questioning, testing, and engaging in open debate that we begin to uncover it. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, understood this well. He believed that truth was not a matter of simply accepting things at face value, but rather something that had to be actively sought out, refined, and tested through dialogue. Socrates' approach to truth was revolutionary in its simplicity and its insistence on self-examination. Unlike many thinkers of his time who relied on established knowledge or the teachings of revered authorities, Socrates believed that true knowledge could only come through direct, personal inquiry. He famously said that the unexamined life is not worth living, suggesting that without actively engaging with the world and testing our beliefs, we cannot hope to understand ourselves or the world around us. For Socrates, truth was something that could only be discovered through this active process of inquiry, a process that demanded intellectual humility, an open mind, and a constant readiness to question one's own assumptions. The process of discovering truth is not an easy one, and it often involves confronting uncomfortable or inconvenient ideas. This is why Socrates was so insistent on the need to question everything, even the things that seem most obvious. He understood that truth is not always simple, and it is often buried beneath layers of misunderstanding, false assumptions, or societal conditioning. To uncover the truth, one must be willing to challenge conventional wisdom, and perhaps even confront one's own deeply held beliefs. One of the most vivid examples of Socrates' approach to truth comes from his famous encounter with a man who claimed to be the wisest of all. According to the story, Socrates was approached by a man who declared that he was the wisest person in Athens. Socrates, ever the skeptic, decided to investigate this claim. He set out to engage in a series of dialogues with this man, asking him questions and probing his beliefs. As Socrates asked more and more questions, he began to realize that the man's understanding was shallow, based on unexamined assumptions and half-truths. Through this process, Socrates demonstrated that true wisdom did not lie in superficial knowledge or the ability to claim expertise, but rather in the ability to question and reflect on one's own understanding. In this story, Socrates exposed the danger of accepting a claim to wisdom without scrutiny. The man who claimed to be the wisest was, in fact, unaware of his own ignorance. Socrates, on the other hand, approached the situation with humility, acknowledging his own lack of knowledge and using his questions to uncover the deeper truths that lay beneath the surface. This exchange highlights a central tenet of Socratic philosophy, that the pursuit of truth is not about asserting what one knows, but about uncovering what one does not know. This approach is both intellectually rigorous and morally transformative, as it requires the individual to confront their own limitations and assumptions. The story also underscores the importance of intellectual humility in the search for truth. Socrates did not approach this man with a sense of superiority or the intention to mock him. Instead, he sought to gently guide him toward a greater understanding of his own ignorance. This is a vital lesson for all of us, that the search for truth requires not only the willingness to question others, but also the humility to question ourselves. Socrates' method was one of respectful inquiry, not one of confrontation or judgment. Through his questioning, he aimed to help people discover the truth for themselves, rather than simply telling them what the truth was. Socrates' approach to truth is deeply relevant to the way we engage with the world today. In our modern society, we are often faced with an overwhelming amount of information, much of it conflicting or misleading. Whether it's in the realm of politics, science, or personal beliefs, we are constantly exposed to a flood of opinions and arguments, many of which may not be based on sound reasoning or evidence. In such an environment, it is easy to fall into the trap of accepting what we hear without question, or of becoming so attached to our own views that we are unwilling to consider alternative perspectives. But Socrates teaches us that in order to discover the truth, we must always be open to questioning and testing our own beliefs. We must be willing to engage in difficult conversations, challenge our own assumptions, and confront the ideas that we may find uncomfortable or threatening. This is especially true in an era where misinformation can spread rapidly, and where the truth is often obscured by agendas or biases. The ability to critically evaluate information, to ask the hard questions, and to remain open to new perspectives is essential for finding the truth in a world that is often filled with noise and distortion. The process of discovering truth also involves engaging with others in meaningful dialogue. Socrates did not believe that truth could be discovered in isolation. Instead, he saw dialogue as a crucial tool for uncovering deeper truths. Through conversation, individuals could test their ideas, refine their thinking, and learn from one another. This process of shared inquiry is one of the hallmarks of Socratic philosophy, and it remains just as relevant today as it was in ancient Athens. By engaging with others in thoughtful, respectful dialogue, we can broaden our understanding, challenge our assumptions, and ultimately arrive at a more accurate understanding of the world. In a practical sense, this means that we should approach our interactions with others with an open mind and a willingness to listen. Instead of approaching conversations with the goal of winning an argument or proving ourselves right, we should seek to understand the perspectives of others and challenge our own assumptions. This doesn't mean that we should accept every idea uncritically, but rather that we should engage in the process of testing and questioning all ideas, including our own. By doing so, we not only move closer to the truth, but we also cultivate intellectual humility and a deeper respect for the perspectives of others. Socrates' emphasis on the importance of questioning is also relevant to how we approach the world around us. In many ways, our culture encourages us to accept things at face value, to rely on authority figures or experts, and to conform to societal norms. But Socrates teaches us that true wisdom comes from questioning those very things. It comes from not accepting the world as it is presented to us, but from engaging with it critically, testing it, and seeking a deeper understanding. This is not always easy, as it requires the courage to confront difficult questions and the willingness to challenge long-held beliefs. But it is through this process that we come closer to the truth. Socrates believed that the pursuit of truth was a lifelong endeavor, and that the search for understanding should never end. He once said that, "I know that I am intelligent, because I know that I know nothing." This recognition of one's own ignorance was not a sign of weakness, but a recognition of the complexity of the world and the limitations of human knowledge. Socrates saw himself as a lifelong learner, always seeking new insights and never assuming that he had all the answers. This mindset is essential for anyone engaged in the search for truth, as it fosters a constant openness to new ideas and a willingness to learn from others. In conclusion, the process of discovering truth is not a simple or straightforward journey. It requires intellectual humility, a willingness to question our own beliefs, and an openness to the perspectives of others. Socrates' method of questioning and dialogue provides a powerful framework for engaging with the world in a meaningful way, and it remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece. By embracing this process of inquiry, we can move closer to the truth, refine our understanding of the world, and live more thoughtful, reflective lives. Truth is not something that is handed to us on a silver platter. It is something that we must actively seek, test, and refine through our own efforts and through our interactions with others. And in this pursuit, we must always remain open to the possibility that what we believe may not always be the whole truth, but that through questioning, we can arrive at a deeper and more meaningful understanding. Truth is not just a set of facts or a series of disconnected ideas that we accumulate over time. It is something far more profound. Truth has the power to fundamentally alter the way we perceive the world around us. It shapes our understanding of ourselves, others, and the nature of reality. When we confront the truth, we don't just learn new information. We experience a shift in our perspective, a transformation that influences our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This is why Socrates placed such an emphasis on the importance of truth, because it is the key to not only intellectual growth, but personal transformation as well. Consider the simple yet powerful question, why am I doing this? It's a question that many of us may ask ourselves at various points in our lives, especially when we feel stuck, unfulfilled, or uncertain about our path. It could be about your job, your relationships, or even your lifestyle choices. At first glance, this question may seem mundane, even trivial. However, when asked sincerely and with genuine curiosity, it can be a gateway to self-discovery and, ultimately, to the truth about what truly matters to you. By questioning our actions, we open ourselves up to the possibility that there may be deeper motivations, desires, or fears driving us that we haven't fully acknowledged. This process of introspection and self-inquiry is not easy, but it is necessary for uncovering the truth about who we are and what we truly want from life. The truth about why we do things often lies beneath the surface of our conscious thoughts. For example, a person might work in a job they find unfulfilling because they believe it is the only way to achieve financial security or gain social status. Yet, upon deeper reflection, they might realize that their true motivation is rooted in fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being able to provide for their family. The truth, in this case, would reveal that the person is not acting out of genuine passion or purpose, but rather out of a desire to avoid discomfort or uncertainty. Once this truth is uncovered, it becomes possible to reconsider one's choices and approach life with a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. Socrates understood the power of self-inquiry and often encouraged people to examine their lives and question their assumptions. His approach was not to offer answers, but to guide others toward discovering the truth for themselves. He didn't believe in simply handing over knowledge or telling people what to believe. Rather, he saw himself as a catalyst for self-discovery. His method of questioning was designed to challenge people to reflect on their own beliefs, to dig deeper into the reasons behind their actions, and to uncover the underlying truths that shape their lives. Take, for example, Socrates' famous conversations with various citizens of Athens. In these dialogues, he would often ask a series of simple yet probing questions, starting with something as basic as, what is justice? Or what is virtue? Through these questions, Socrates didn't aim to provide a final answer, but to guide his interlocutors toward a deeper understanding of their own beliefs. By pushing them to confront contradictions in their thinking, he helped them see the flaws in their reasoning and the assumptions they had taken for granted. This process of inquiry was designed to reveal the truth about the concepts they were discussing and, ultimately, about the nature of reality itself. What Socrates was really doing was encouraging people to examine their own lives, to ask difficult questions, and challenge their own assumptions. He believed that the process of questioning wasn't just an intellectual exercise, but a moral and spiritual one as well. By examining one's beliefs and actions, a person could uncover truths about their character and their values. These truths, once revealed, could lead to profound personal growth and a deeper understanding of what it means to live a virtuous life. In this way, Socrates saw truth as a tool for self-improvement, a means of aligning one's actions with their deepest values and principles. The ability to discover the truth about ourselves is a powerful and transformative experience. It allows us to confront our fears, desires, and motivations in a way that brings clarity and insight. This can be particularly important in the context of personal and professional growth. For example, many people stay in unfulfilling jobs because they fear the uncertainty of change or believe that they cannot pursue a different career path. However, when they take the time to reflect on their true motivations and desires, they may realize that their fears are based on false assumptions or limiting beliefs. Once they uncover the truth about what they truly want, they can make more informed decisions and take actions that align with their values and goals. Socrates believed that the pursuit of truth was not just about intellectual inquiry, but about living a life of integrity and virtue. He saw knowledge and wisdom as inseparable from moral and ethical behavior. For Socrates, living a good life meant being true to oneself living authentically, and striving to be the best version of oneself. This is why he believed that the pursuit of truth was so important. It wasn't just about gaining knowledge for knowledge's sake, but about using that knowledge to live a more meaningful and virtuous life. When we discover the truth about ourselves and our motivations, we are better equipped to make choices that are in alignment with our true values. This doesn't mean that the process of discovering truth is always easy or comfortable. In fact, it often requires us to confront difficult emotions, acknowledge our flaws, and face the reality of our situation. But the reward for this discomfort is a life that is more authentic, more purposeful, and ultimately more fulfilling. The truth, as Socrates understood, is not something that can be given to us by others. It is something that we must uncover for ourselves through introspection, questioning, and dialogue. In today's world, where so much information is readily available, it can be tempting to simply accept what others tell us without questioning it. We may rely on experts, social media influencers, or popular opinions to shape our understanding of the world. However, this passive acceptance of information can prevent us from discovering the truth for ourselves. To truly understand the world, we must be willing to dig deeper, ask tough questions, and challenge the beliefs that we take for granted. In this sense, truth is not static. It evolves as we evolve, as we grow and learn from our experiences. What may have been true for us at one point in our lives may no longer hold true as we gain new insights and perspectives. This is why Socrates encouraged people to engage in continuous self-examination and reflection. He understood that truth was not a final destination, but a lifelong process of discovery. For Socrates, the pursuit of truth was ultimately about living a life of virtue and integrity. He believed that by uncovering the truth about ourselves and our world, we could live more meaningful and purposeful lives. This process of self-discovery and personal growth was not just for philosophers or intellectuals. It was for everyone. Whether in the realm of personal relationships, career choices, or ethical dilemmas, the search for truth was a universal endeavor, one that required honesty, humility, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable realities of life. In conclusion, the search for truth is not just about acquiring knowledge. It is about changing the way we see the world and ourselves. Through questioning our assumptions and challenging our beliefs, we can uncover deeper truths that transform our understanding of life. Socrates understood that the pursuit of truth was a journey, not a destination. It was a continuous process of self-examination and dialogue that allowed us to grow, learn, and ultimately live more authentic, virtuous lives. By embracing this process, we can find clarity, purpose, and fulfillment in all aspects of our lives. Truth, then, is not just a matter of intellect. It is a matter of living in accordance with our deepest values and striving to be the best version of ourselves. People often lie to themselves. This may sound harsh, but it's a reality that many of us face at some point in our lives. These self-deceptions are not always malicious or intentional. In many cases, they stem from a deep-seated fear of confronting uncomfortable truths. It is easier to tell ourselves things that provide comfort or justification than to face the harsh reality of our situation. Self-deception, however, can be dangerous because it prevents us from seeing the truth, which ultimately limits our ability to grow, change, and make meaningful decisions. Acknowledging the truth, even when it is painful, is necessary for personal transformation. One powerful example of this is the story of a person who feels unfulfilled in their job, but continues to insist that they are happy with it. Imagine a person named Alex. Alex works as a project manager at a company that has a reputation for being stable and well-paying. On the surface, Alex should be happy. The work provides financial security, a good title, and benefits that many people would envy. However, Alex spends most of their days feeling unmotivated, disconnected, and disengaged. The excitement that once came with their role has long since faded, and every morning is a struggle to get out of bed. Deep down, Alex feels trapped. The work seems meaningless, and the hours are draining. Yet, when asked how they feel about their job, Alex always responds with, "I'm happy. I'm doing well." Why does Alex lie to themselves? The answer lies in the fear of change and the fear of confronting uncomfortable truths. Alex may feel like they have invested too much time in this job to walk away, or they might be afraid of the unknown that comes with making a change. It's also possible that Alex has convinced themselves that their dissatisfaction is simply a phase, or that they should be grateful for the security that the job provides. After all, society often teaches us that stability and financial success are signs of a good life. But deep down, Alex knows that something is missing. In this situation, Alex is not alone. Many of us have experienced similar feelings at some point in our careers or personal lives. We convince ourselves that things are fine when, in reality, they are not. This self-deception happens because we are afraid to confront the truth about our dissatisfaction. We are afraid that acknowledging the truth would force us to make difficult decisions, to disrupt our current way of life, or to face the fear of failure. The lie we tell ourselves, the belief that we are happy when we are not, serves as a shield from the discomfort of change. The truth, however, is that we cannot move forward if we continue to deny what is really going on inside of us. The first step toward transformation is to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. In Alex's case, the truth is that they are unhappy in their job. They may feel scared to admit this, but once they do, they will be in a better position to make a change. Confronting the truth about their dissatisfaction opens up possibilities for growth and new opportunities. It may mean taking a risk, such as leaving the security of a stable job to pursue something more meaningful, or stepping into the unknown. But until Alex acknowledges the truth, they will remain stuck in a cycle of self-deception. It's important to recognize that acknowledging the truth doesn't always lead to immediate action. Often, it's the first step in a longer process of self-reflection and decision-making. It may take time for Alex to process their feelings and decide what steps to take. But the key point is that they are no longer denying the truth. They're no longer lying to themselves about their happiness or their dissatisfaction. This realization is empowering because it gives them the clarity they need to make an informed decision about their future. Self-deception can be a form of protection, but it's a protective mechanism that ultimately keeps us from living authentic lives. By avoiding the truth, we may feel safe in the short term, but we also limit our ability to achieve long-term happiness and fulfillment. Living authentically, on the other hand, requires that we confront the truth, even when it's difficult. For Alex, this could mean exploring new career options, having difficult conversations with loved ones, or facing the fear of failure. The truth may not be easy to accept, but it is essential for making choices that align with who we truly are. In a broader sense, this pattern of self-deception isn't just limited to one's job. It can happen in any area of life: relationships, health, personal values, and more. We often deceive ourselves about the things that matter most because we are afraid to face the truth. A person in an unhealthy relationship might tell themselves that everything is fine, even though they feel lonely and unappreciated. A person struggling with their health might deny that their habits are taking a toll on their well-being. A person who feels unfulfilled in life might convince themselves that they are content with their current situation, even though they long for something more meaningful. The challenge, then, is to break free from the cycle of self-deception and learn how to confront the truth head-on. Socrates, the great philosopher, believed that the unexamined life was not worth living. He argued that it is only through constant self-examination and the willingness to question our own beliefs and assumptions that we can truly understand ourselves and our place in the world. Socrates understood that the pursuit of truth requires courage, the courage to ask difficult questions, to confront uncomfortable realities, and to challenge the lies we tell ourselves. Facing the truth may be uncomfortable, and it may even change our lives in ways we didn't expect. But it is through this process of self-reflection and honesty that we are able to break free from the lies we tell ourselves and make choices that lead to greater fulfillment. For Alex, acknowledging the truth about their dissatisfaction at work may eventually lead them to a new career or a different path in life. The process of discovering this truth is transformative, and it can serve as a catalyst for change. There's a saying, "The truth will set you free." It's a simple statement, but it carries a powerful message. Truth has the ability to break through the barriers of self-deception and unlock our potential for growth. It can free us from the limitations we place on ourselves and empower us to live more authentic lives. But in order for this to happen, we must be willing to confront the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Ultimately, the journey toward discovering the truth is one of self-liberation. It involves confronting our fears, questioning our assumptions, and embracing the reality of our situation. This process can be painful, but it is also deeply rewarding. The truth has the power to change not just our circumstances, but our very perspective on life. When we face the truth, we are empowered to make choices that are aligned with our true selves, leading to a life of authenticity, fulfillment, and purpose. So, the next time you find yourself lying to yourself or avoiding an uncomfortable truth, remember that only by confronting it will you find the freedom to live a life that is truly yours. The search for truth is a pursuit that extends far beyond the realm of intellectual curiosity. It is a deeply transformative process that shapes not only how we understand the world, but also how we relate to ourselves and others. Truth, in its purest form, is not just a collection of facts or knowledge. It is a force that can reshape our perspectives, guide our decisions, and ultimately lead us to live more meaningful and fulfilling lives. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, understood this well. For him, the pursuit of truth was not just about accumulating knowledge. It was about creating a foundation for a life rooted in wisdom, virtue, and self-awareness. The benefits of seeking the truth are manifold, and one of the most profound advantages is the way it helps us better understand ourselves. When we engage in the process of self-examination and inquiry, we begin to uncover the deeper layers of our motivations, desires, and fears. This kind of introspection allows us to see ourselves more clearly, free from the distortions of self-deception or societal expectations. It's easy to fall into the trap of living on autopilot, following the routines set before us by family, culture, or our own unexamined assumptions. But when we begin to ask the difficult questions, why am I doing this? What do I really want? What is truly important to me? We open ourselves up to the possibility of a more authentic existence. Consider, for example, the process of choosing a career. Many people, especially early in their professional lives, choose a path based on external factors such as income, prestige, or the expectations of others. They may pursue a degree in a field that seems practical or desirable without ever pausing to ask themselves whether they truly enjoy the work or find it meaningful. Over time, these individuals may begin to feel dissatisfied or unfulfilled, yet they continue down the same path, convincing themselves that it's too late to change or that they should be grateful for the stability their career provides. The truth, however, may be that they're not happy in their work and that their true passions lie elsewhere. The only way to discover this is through a process of self-reflection and honest inquiry. When individuals begin to question the motivations behind their career choices, they may uncover deeper truths about what they truly value, perhaps creativity, independence, or helping others. The truth, in this case, provides clarity. It opens up new possibilities and empowers individuals to make more informed decisions about their futures. By confronting the truth about their dissatisfaction, they free themselves from the grip of external expectations and can begin to make choices that align with their authentic selves. This process of self-discovery, while often uncomfortable, has the potential to bring about profound changes in our lives. It allows us to live more consciously and intentionally, When we are in touch with the truth about our desires and goals, we are better equipped to pursue a life that reflects our values and aspirations. The search for truth helps us recognize what truly matters, allowing us to prioritize the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and meaning. It is through this awareness that we gain the power to change the course of our lives and make choices that lead to a more purposeful existence. Socrates believed that the pursuit of truth was not just an intellectual exercise. It was an essential part of living a virtuous life. He argued that the truth was the foundation upon which a meaningful life could be built. According to Socrates, living a life that is grounded in truth is the key to achieving wisdom, integrity, and moral excellence. Without the pursuit of truth, Socrates believed that individuals will be trapped in a life of ignorance, misdirection, and unfulfilled potential. The search for truth, then, was not just about understanding the world more clearly. It was about becoming the best version of oneself. One of the most powerful ways that truth shapes our lives is by transforming our understanding of the world around us. When we seek the truth, we begin to break down the assumptions and biases that shape our worldview. We start to see things not as they are presented to us by society or tradition, but as they truly are. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. It opens our minds to new ideas, new possibilities, and new ways of thinking. For example, many of us are influenced by societal norms that dictate what success, happiness, or fulfillment should look like. These norms can create pressure to conform to external standards of achievement, even if they don't align with our true values or desires. By questioning these external expectations and seeking the truth about what truly brings us happiness, we can begin to break free from these societal constraints. We may discover that success is not defined by the number of accolades we receive or the size of our paycheck, but by the quality of our relationships, our sense of purpose, or our contribution to the well-being of others. The truth helps us redefine success in a way that is personal and meaningful to us. It gives us the freedom to live in alignment with our true selves, rather than trying to meet the expectations set by others. In addition to providing clarity and perspective, the pursuit of truth can also lead to positive changes in our relationships with others. When we're truthful with ourselves, we're more likely to be truthful with others. Authenticity and honesty become the foundation for deeper, more meaningful connections, whether in personal relationships or professional interactions. The ability to speak and live the truth creates trust, respect, and mutual understanding. On the other hand, when we lie to ourselves or others, we build walls of deception that prevent true connection and intimacy. By embracing the truth, we foster healthier relationships and create a more supportive and honest environment for ourselves and those around us. Truth also has the power to bring about positive changes in society. In a world where misinformation and half-truths are common, the pursuit of truth is more important than ever. Socrates, in his time, was deeply concerned with the moral state of Athens and the lack of critical reflection among its citizens. He believed that a just society could only be built on a foundation of truth, where individuals were encouraged to examine their beliefs, challenge assumptions, and engage in meaningful dialogue. In many ways, his commitment to truth was a call to action for all of us to think more critically, question authority, and seek a deeper understanding of the world around us. Today, the importance of truth is perhaps more pressing than ever. In an age of information overload, it can be difficult to distinguish fact from fiction. Misinformation spreads rapidly, and many people are quick to believe things without questioning them. The pursuit of truth in this context is not just an intellectual exercise. It is an ethical responsibility. By actively seeking the truth, we can contribute to a more informed and just society. We can challenge false narratives, expose injustices, and make decisions that are based on facts rather than fear or ideology. Socrates' philosophy reminds us that truth is not just about gaining knowledge, but about living according to that knowledge. The pursuit of truth is a means of aligning our actions with our deepest values and principles. It is the key to living a life that is both morally sound and personally fulfilling. By seeking the truth, we are able to navigate the complexities of life with greater wisdom and clarity. We are able to make better decisions, form stronger relationships, and contribute to a more just and ethical world. In this way, the search for truth is not just a means to an end, but a way of living a meaningful and purposeful life. In conclusion, the benefits of seeking truth extend far beyond the acquisition of knowledge. The pursuit of truth leads to self-awareness, personal growth, and the ability to live authentically. It transforms our relationships, shapes our understanding of the world, and empowers us to live a life that is aligned with our values and aspirations. Socrates recognized the profound importance of truth, and his teachings continue to inspire us to seek truth in all aspects of our lives. By embracing the pursuit of truth, we can create a life that is rich in meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Truth, ultimately, is the foundation of a life well lived. Truth is often a difficult thing to face, especially when it challenges our existing beliefs, values, and understanding of the world. It forces us to confront uncomfortable realities and confront the assumptions that have guided our lives for so long. This is particularly true when we encounter the deeper truths about ourselves, our relationships, or the broader world in which we live. The truth doesn't always arrive in the neat, easy-to-digest form we might wish for. Sometimes it is messy, difficult, and even painful. Yet, despite the challenges it presents, truth is a crucial component of personal and intellectual growth. Only by confronting it head-on can we evolve into more self-aware, open-minded, and authentic individuals. The ability to accept truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is essential for growth. Think about a time in your life when you were confronted with a difficult truth. Perhaps it was the realization that a relationship you had invested a lot of time in was not as healthy as you thought. Or maybe it was acknowledging that your career path, which once seemed ideal, no longer aligns with your passions. For many people, these moments are uncomfortable because they force a shift in how they see the world and themselves. It's easier in some ways to hold on to the illusion that everything is fine or that our assumptions about life are correct, even when they're not. But in order to grow and evolve, we must face these uncomfortable truths. Take the example of someone who has spent years working in a job they thought was the right choice, only to eventually realize that it no longer brings them fulfillment. The truth of this realization, acknowledging that they feel unfulfilled, disconnected, or dissatisfied with their work, can be painful. It would be easier to continue convincing themselves that they are content, but that lie only perpetuates their dissatisfaction. The first step in moving forward is acknowledging the truth. Even though it may require making difficult decisions, such as changing careers, letting go of old dreams, or confronting the fear of the unknown. This moment of truth is essential for personal growth because it pushes the person to reassess their life and make choices that are more aligned with their true passions and values. Facing difficult truths doesn't just apply to personal growth. It extends to intellectual and philosophical development as well. Socrates, for example, constantly challenged the established beliefs and assumptions of his time. He didn't accept conventional wisdom simply because it was widely believed or passed down through generations. Instead, he used rigorous questioning to uncover the deeper truths about morality, justice, and human nature. Socrates' famous method of questioning, the Socratic method, was designed to help people examine their beliefs and assumptions by asking pointed, probing questions. His goal wasn't to provide answers, but to get people to confront their own misconceptions and challenge their own assumptions. By continually questioning, Socrates believed individuals could move closer to understanding the truth. This process of continual questioning is at the heart of intellectual growth. It is easy to become comfortable with our beliefs and accept them as truths. We are often surrounded by people who share similar values and perspectives, and this can reinforce the beliefs we already hold. However, if we are to grow intellectually and morally, we must be willing to question everything. We must be willing to step outside of our comfort zones and ask ourselves, is this truly true? Why do I believe this? Is there another perspective I should consider? These questions, though often difficult to ask, are necessary for expanding our minds and gaining a deeper understanding of the world around us. Consider the example of someone who holds a political belief that has been deeply ingrained in them for years. They have always voted a certain way, supported certain policies, and aligned themselves with a specific ideological group. It would be easy for them to continue holding these beliefs without questioning them, as doing so would be uncomfortable. After all, questioning one's deeply held beliefs can lead to doubt, uncertainty, and a sense of losing one's identity. But true intellectual growth requires that we face these moments of discomfort and ask hard questions. What if the policies or ideologies they've supported aren't actually in line with their core values? What if their beliefs are based on incomplete or biased information? The process of questioning and exploring alternative viewpoints can be challenging, but it is necessary for moving closer to the truth. This is where intellectual humility becomes essential. Socrates, in his search for truth, emphasized the importance of recognizing one's own ignorance. He famously claimed that he knew nothing, except for the fact that he knew nothing. This statement was not an expression of self-doubt or defeat, but rather a recognition that no one has all the answers. By admitting that we don't know everything, we open ourselves up to learning and growth. This humility allows us to question our beliefs, challenge assumptions, and remain open to new ideas. When we embrace intellectual humility, we acknowledge that the truth is not always obvious, and that the journey toward understanding requires continuous inquiry and self-examination. For many people, the fear of change is what keeps them from confronting difficult truths. Change can be intimidating because it requires us to let go of familiar ways of thinking, acting, and being. When we accept a truth that challenges our long-held beliefs, we are often faced with the prospect of having to change something significant in our lives. This change can be emotionally taxing, but it is also the key to growth. Just like a tree must shed its old leaves in order to grow new ones, we too must be willing to let go of outdated or limiting beliefs in order to expand our understanding of ourselves and the world. The process of seeking truth is not a one-time event or a quick fix. It is a lifelong journey. The search for truth requires persistence, patience, and a willingness to constantly challenge our assumptions and beliefs. We may never fully arrive at the truth in any absolute sense, but the process of seeking it is itself transformative. The more we engage with difficult questions, the more we open ourselves to new perspectives and ideas. Each question we ask brings us closer to understanding, and each truth we uncover helps us see the world more clearly. This is where the idea of the journey comes in. Socrates believed that the search for truth was a never-ending process. He didn't see truth as something fixed or final, but as something that we continually move toward. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. This realization should not be discouraging. Rather, it should be liberating. It means that there's always room for growth, always room for deeper understanding. The journey toward truth is not about reaching a final destination, but about embracing the process of discovery itself. This ongoing journey of questioning and seeking is not just an intellectual exercise. It has real-world implications. The more we engage with difficult questions and confront uncomfortable truths, the more we can apply these insights to our lives. We can make better decisions, form stronger relationships, and create a more just and meaningful world. Truth has the power to transform not just our individual lives, but the world around us as well. By continually questioning our assumptions and seeking the truth, we can move closer to a society based on justice, fairness, and understanding. In conclusion, the search for truth is not always easy, but it is an essential part of personal and intellectual growth. It requires us to face difficult questions, challenge deeply held beliefs, and embrace change. The journey toward truth is ongoing and unending, and it is through this continuous process of inquiry and self-examination that we become better versions of ourselves. Like Socrates, we must never stop asking questions, never stop seeking truth, and never stop growing. Truth may not always be easy to accept, but it is through accepting it that we open the door to real transformation and meaningful change in our lives. The search for truth is a journey that is both challenging and transformative. It is not a straightforward path, nor is it always one that leads to immediate answers. Instead, the process of seeking truth is a continual exploration, one that forces us to confront our assumptions, question our beliefs, and remain open to new perspectives. This journey is not just about accumulating knowledge, but about understanding ourselves more deeply, reshaping our values, and ultimately living a more authentic, meaningful life. At its core, the pursuit of truth requires a commitment to intellectual humility and self-examination. Socrates, one of the most influential philosophers in Western history, made it clear that the search for truth is not a passive activity. It demands active engagement, a willingness to ask difficult questions, and the courage to challenge our most deeply held beliefs. Socrates' famous statement, "The unexamined life is not worth living," serves as a reminder that without self-reflection and critical inquiry, we risk living a life that is not fully our own, one that is shaped by external forces, preconceived notions, and the comfort of accepting things as they are without truly understanding them. When we choose to embark on the journey of seeking truth, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We begin to see the world not as it is presented to us, but as it truly is: complex, nuanced, and full of contradictions. This deeper understanding allows us to make better decisions, form stronger relationships, and engage with the world in a more meaningful way. Truth helps us align our actions with our deepest values, enabling us to live a life that is authentic and fulfilling. It gives us the clarity we need to navigate the challenges of life, from personal struggles to larger societal issues. However, seeking truth is not always easy. There are times when the truth we uncover is uncomfortable, challenging, or even painful. It forces us to confront things we may not want to face, whether it's a personal flaw, an unfulfilling job, or a relationship that no longer serves us. These moments of discomfort are often the very catalyst for growth, pushing us to make changes that lead to a better, more meaningful life. The process of confronting these difficult truths may feel like a struggle at times, but it is precisely through this struggle that we develop strength, resilience, and wisdom. One of the most significant aspects of Socrates' philosophy is his insistence on asking questions. For Socrates, questioning was not just a tool for acquiring knowledge, it was a way of life. He believed that the act of questioning helped us uncover the deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us. The Socratic method, in which he engaged others in dialogue by asking probing questions, was designed to help people examine their beliefs, uncover inconsistencies, and come closer to the truth. By continually asking questions, Socrates sought to encourage intellectual curiosity and critical thinking, both of which are essential for living a thoughtful and purposeful life. This approach of constantly questioning is something we can all learn from. In our fast-paced, information-driven world, it is easy to take things at face value, to accept the opinions of others, or to cling to our own preconceived notions. However, if we want to live a life that is truly meaningful, we must be willing to question everything, even our own assumptions. The ability to ask questions, to challenge the status quo, and to engage with different perspectives is essential for discovering the truth, both about the world and ourselves. The journey of seeking truth also requires a willingness to embrace uncertainty. When we question our beliefs and open ourselves to new ideas, we often find ourselves in a place of ambiguity. We may not have all the answers, and the answers we do find may be complicated or even contradictory. This uncertainty can be unsettling, but it is also an essential part of the process. Truth is not always neat and tidy. It is often messy, complex, and fluid. By accepting the discomfort of uncertainty, we allow ourselves to grow and expand our understanding of the world. Socrates, despite his great wisdom, never claimed to have all the answers. He acknowledged his own ignorance and used it as a starting point for his inquiries. This intellectual humility was key to his approach to truth. It allowed him to remain open to new ideas and to engage in meaningful dialogue with others. For us, embracing the idea that we do not know everything can be liberating. It frees us from the pressure of having to have all the answers, and it encourages us to continue seeking, learning, and growing throughout our lives. In the pursuit of truth, we also learn the importance of integrity. When we uncover uncomfortable truths about ourselves, we are faced with a choice. Do we continue to hide from these truths, or do we embrace them and make the necessary changes? Integrity requires that we live in alignment with the truths we uncover, even when it's difficult. This might mean making tough decisions, such as changing careers, ending a toxic relationship, or reevaluating our goals and priorities. The process of living in alignment with our truth may not always be easy, but it is ultimately what leads to a life that is authentic, meaningful, and fulfilling. Socrates' life and teachings serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of questioning, self-reflection, and intellectual humility. His insistence on the value of inquiry, even in the face of uncertainty or discomfort, encourages us to continue the journey of seeking truth in all aspects of our lives. The pursuit of truth is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey that requires perseverance, curiosity, and an openness to change. In conclusion, seeking the truth is one of the most important journeys we can undertake in life. It requires a commitment to self-reflection, intellectual humility, and the courage to face difficult truths, even when they challenge our beliefs or force us to change. The pursuit of truth leads to greater self-awareness, stronger relationships, and a deeper understanding of the world around us. It is through this process that we can live more authentically, make better decisions, and ultimately lead a more meaningful life. As Socrates taught us, the unexamined life is not worth living, and the search for truth is the key to living a life of wisdom, virtue, and fulfillment. So, don't stop asking questions, don't stop seeking answers, and never stop exploring the deeper truths that shape who you are and how you engage with the world. Well, there you have it. We've journeyed through the powerful philosophy of Socrates and explored how the search for truth isn't just about finding answers, it's about asking the right questions, challenging the status quo, and living a life that is as authentic as possible. Socrates himself didn't just tell people the truth, he guided them to uncover it for themselves. And in doing so, he showed us that the pursuit of truth is a lifelong journey. It's about constant self-examination, the courage to face uncomfortable realities, and the commitment to living a life aligned with our deepest values. Now, I know this journey can feel daunting, and the truths we uncover may not always be easy. But remember, each step you take toward understanding is a step closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. It's through facing difficult truths that we evolve, grow, and create lives that are more meaningful, fulfilling, and in line with who we truly are. So, I encourage you to keep questioning, keep seeking, and never be afraid to challenge what you believe to be true. If you found this video insightful, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below with your ideas on how we can embrace the search for truth in our everyday lives. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps this community grow, and it inspires me to continue bringing more valuable content your way. If you're feeling especially generous, don't forget you can also support the channel with a super thanks. It goes a long way in helping keep this channel going strong. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to continue this conversation with you. Stay curious, stay open-minded, and keep questioning the world around you. Until next time, take care and keep seeking the truth.